Like following up Tony Gwynn as the head coach at San Diego State?
Well, people ask me that all the time. I think the biggest thing is that he made it easier for me to transition into being the head coach. So, those plans kind of started when he was first diagnosed, and so he put me in positions to kind of transition into being the head coach, and that was 2012. And so that part of it was seamless, kind of, understanding the day-to-day duties of a head coach. The hardest thing was understanding that, I wanted to definitely carry his legacy and carry those ideals and values that we spend so much time infusing in the program. And then at the same time, understanding that I have to infuse my ideals and values alongside of Tony's. And so that took a couple of years because, you're trying to definitely uphold Tony's legacy and the things that he did for San Diego State, not only as a coach, but as an athlete, and obviously being Mr. Padre. But then my whole plan is to continue his legacy, but also build my own.
Are there any funny? Oh, good. Are there any funny stories that you guys have of like him?
Okay, so I think it was my first year of coaching. We were playing the University of Mexico, who I coached with before, and they had a young man by the name of Danny Ray Herrera. He was about 5'9", left-handed guy, and he was really freaking good. Little short dude on the mound, not much to look at. About 88, 89, had a little breaking ball, but he had the best changeup in the country. And so leading into the series with New Mexico, I'm telling T, like, hey man, we got to work on, picking our spots, look for changeup, look for fastball. And he's like, you don't need to do that. You just freaking look for the ball and whatever. So we spent a week, him throwing, Tony's left-handed, he's throwing, fastball changeups and BP. And our guys were doing a good job kind of letting the ball travel, get it deep, and they're, hitting balls the other way. And so we're going into this deal with Danny Ray. And so first inning, bottom of the first, it was at our place. I go out to third base, and of course, like 1, 2, 3 inning, like we had no shot, basically. And so I go in, and T's pissed. He's mad. He's slamming his clipboard, and he's like, I cannot understand. I'll keep it G-rated, too. I cannot understand how these guys can't hit this guy. He's freaking meat. I'm like, T, he's pretty good. I mean, he's got a really good. It's pretty good. He goes, he shows it right to you. He's freaking. I don't get it. I'm like, well, he's pretty good. He goes, all they got to do is do their training, and he goes, but he's meat. I'd bust this guy's ass. All right, so we're on defense. We get done. I go back out to the third base box. Of course, 1, 2, 3 inning. Clipboard's against the wall. He's really pissed. And I go down there, and I'm like, T, all right, man, what's going on? He goes, I don't understand. He goes, this guy's showing every pitch to these guys. It's freaking unbelievable. And I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Because they obviously are not seeing it very good. He goes, well, next time we go out to hit, he goes, just stay in the dugout. I'll show you what I'm talking about. He goes, hell, we're not going to hit the ball anyway. You don't need to go out to third base. But just hang out. Get someone else to coach. I grabbed a player and put him out on the third base deal. So I sat in there, and he says, okay. He goes, what I want you to do is I want you to, before he throws a pitch, I want you to tell me what's coming. And I said, what? He goes, I'll show you. So Danny Ray's up there, and, he goes into his windup, and he takes the ball out, and he's like, fastball. Just fastball. He says, you saw that, right? I'm like, yeah, I saw it was a fastball. No, you saw it, right? And I'm like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. He says he's showing it right to you. So he goes, I'll show you, watch. I'm like, all right. So next pitch, change up. You saw it, right? No, I didn't see it. I saw nothing. and neither did the hitter. Right? It's like swing and a miss. And he goes, I don't understand. He goes, look in the window, just like we teach our guys. And he says his pinky on his changeup is coming up. I'm like, okay. Now we know why you're a Hall of Famer. Because no one else gets this. He goes, so okay, it's your turn. Now go ahead. I said, okay. I got this. So he throws a pitch, and sure enough, it's like, fastball. And he's like, no, before he throws it. I said, okay. And the next one, he throws, he's like right here. And I go, change up. It's a fastball. Right? And he's like, no, it's a fastball. I'm like, dude, I don't know what you're talking about. No idea what you're talking about. He goes, get in the window. He's showing it right to you. And I'm like, okay. So I'm like, I'm going to bear down now. I'm really like bear down. And he throws a pitch. Of course, I'm late. And I'm like, change up? He goes, no, damn it, it was a freaking fastball. And I'm like, T, I don't think, and other players are sitting there looking at me being embarrassed, right? And I go, I don't think these guys are seeing what you're seeing, man. I'm just letting you know. I said, you're not of Earth. You're like you're a witch. You're an alien. I don't understand what you're talking about. And he goes, are you serious? He goes, these guys don't see what I'm seeing. I go, not even close. I said, I might be old, but I can promise you that the guys that are going to the plate are not seeing what you're seeing. And so that day he had an epiphany. And so he said, well, we got to change how we're teaching hitting. And so that was one of the funnier ones. So, of course, he embarrassed me. And then after the game, we lost, like, bad, 7-1 or something like that. It's amazing we scored a run off the guy. Long story longer, Danny Ray Herrera went 13-0 that year. So he's pretty good. He's pretty good. Although Tony would bust his ass.
Hey,
he would have done.
Tell that one story about the player challenging Tony to hit.
Oh, we had this kid, God, I can't remember his name, Chris something. He was a pitcher, senior, loud, obnoxious dude, like you. Loud, obnoxious dude. And he had been around Tony for a couple years, and they had banter, and he'd always walk by Tony and say, just freaking strike your ass out. And Tony's like, bring it, bro. Anytime. He's, and so it was daily. I would strike you out. I would strike you out. And so it got to the point where Tony's like, you don't want none of this, come on, and he'd get a little get